Hey, it's me, it's Brandon T here with the Painting with Magic show. And today I thought we'd do a nice little seascape. It's cold right now, and I'm thinking about the beach. I'm ready to get out of here and go on vacation. So what I want to do is I want to do a nice little ocean scene, something with nice big rolling waves in there, a nice big rock or something in here, and I want to see where it gets us. I'll have the colors go across the screen for you, just like I have them on my palette. And today I got a tiny little bit of yellow, not much yellow, so be maybe a pea-sized piece of yellow on your palette. And I got this covered in a amazing white, and it's just a 16 by 20 canvas like we usually do. So I'll tell you what, let's go into a little bit of Prussian blue, just the tiniest little Prussian blue, not much at all. Okay, let's go up here. Not much, tiny little bit. Tiny little bit. So you want to wipe that off a little bit. Got a little too much thinner in that brush. Okay, just did a little bit because I had a little touch of thinner in there. That done it right there. We go. Alrighty, I'm just going to use X strokes. I'm using very little paint. Very little paint. Very little paint. Not much. A lot will get you going. So just a little tiny touch. And I'm using the Grumbacher pre-tested oil paints, and they got a ton of pigment in them. See right there, that might be just almost too much. So we'll try to drag it out a little bit. So I want kind of a faded sky today. Not much at all. So amazing what we'll mix in here with it real good. And we should be good to go. Get in there, monkey faced on it. Just get on here. Don't need much of this blue on here today, just a tiny little bit. Alright. Okay. Kind of dry this old brush out again. And kind of blend it out a little bit more. Alrighty. That's fantastic right there. I like that nice light touch of blue in the sky. Maybe a little darker than a lightly touch, but it's fairly close. I'm going to take a number 6 fan brush. I'm going to take a tiny little bit of alizarin crimson, just a tiniest little bit. You can probably see my palette's got very little bit there. Just kind of stain the bristles. Let's go back up here. I'm going to do kind of a circling motion, and then kind of scrub it around. Almost kind of like a dry brushing effect, but our canvas is wet. Don't reload the brush, just keep it going. Blend it into the blue. A little bit more. I'm going to reload it just back into this pile. Maybe grab a little bit more. And right there. Okay, I like that pretty good. And then I'm going to just take the brush and just beat some of that out, the blue out, and go back over the whole entire canvas. Alrighty. Next, I'm going to take the same old number 6 fan brush we was using. I'm going to grab a tiny touch of titanium white and go in here. I kind of want a kind of an interesting looking sky today, kind of soft sky. Not much, so a little bit of titanium white on the brush. Go back in here again. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not, but there's a little bit of white going in here. It's kind of created a very tinted touch of pink to it. It's kind of tinted a little bit, but it's more white than anything. Okay, I like that right there pretty good. Then we'll blend it over again. And I like this sky. Nice soft sky today. Not much going on back here because I've got a big crashing wave I want to throw in here. I'm going to take my filbert brush and I'm going to start laying this out for you. I'm going to say, we're going to have a sky. There's just a touch of blue on this. just a dirty brush. I picked it up. And draw your horizon line out. Now, some people will use tape. I'm just going to draw mine out because I kind of want a rocky looking horizon line. Then we'll start designing wrong way. This is just a dirty brush. It has a little touch of blue in it. Right off the canvas. There's one. And I'm going to grab a little bit more blue. And see if I got a crashing wave. Kind of goes right there. Probably won't see hardly all of that wave. Probably just a tiny bit of the wave will crash. And then we'll have something like a big monster wave in here. This is an easy way to do it. Just draw your stuff out. You can always start drawing out your patterns. It's really simple to do. This way you kind of get yourself already knowing what you're going to do. And I think I'll have a rock in here too today. Something kind of big monster rock that wave can crash into. And it kind of comes off like that. See, you can draw your patterns out that easy. I like to use blue because blue is a very natural color and you can blend it out, especially in a seascape. There's going to be a lot of blue, so I like to draw, sketch out my paintings with blue most of the time. Sometimes I'll use brown or something. Okay, so there's my rock. There's my little big crashing wave. Crasher this way. Okay, I think with that, I'm ready to start mixing up some more paint. I'm going to take and mix it with my brush. We'll use a brush. We'll go with titanium white, some burnt umber, sap green, touch of blue. Okay, maybe a little bit more brown. Okay, I like that color right there pretty good. Maybe a tiny little bit touch more brown in that. And maybe a touch more sap green. Okay, let's go back here and see what we got. I want this back here to be a little darker. Maybe we'll touch more brown to that. You can always change the color. So just go a little bit at a time. Okay, I like it a lot better. And you can just follow right underneath that light blue line and then blend into that. Okay. Reload the brush. I'm going to go on this side of this rock shape. Now, I push harder, it'll get darker because I'm letting more of that paint out of the brush. Same old color we just mixed up. Just push a little bit harder. Okay. And I'm going to softly kind of merge those two together. Alright. Okay. I get pretty good. I may add a little touch of black to that. And a little more brown. Tiny touch of blue. Prussian blue. Let's go back in here again. I'm kind of doing some rocky motions. Needs to be a little darker. No more black to that. That way I can get some variation of color back here. Because with the ocean, if you go to the beach and you kind of up a little bit, you can kind of see the water. You can see different colors in there all over the water because the sun hits it in different spots. So you add different colors, different shades in the water back in here in this area. It makes it more realistic looking. Okay, I like that a lot. Okay, now I can just clean off the brush because it's going to be nice and dark over here anyway. I'm going to get rid of the paint over here. Okay. So far, so good. And we can just clean this all the way off until it gets almost clean. You kind of put this into that water. So it's the same old watercolor. We may even use the big old brush to do this further, but let's take and make some color in here. We'll take titanium white, some sap green, some cadmium yellow light, tiny little bit, a little burnt umber, tiny little bit of blue. Okay, and then we'll see what we get when we get in here. Might want to make that. No, I think it's good. There we go. That's a good color. Now I may choose to make this a tiny bit darker, but it depends what it looks like when I kind of get it on here. Now you need to, if you're going to make the wave look like it's moving up, you need to have 3 different colors. So you get your lightest tone, you'll have a middle tone and a little darker. So we'll have this as our lightest tone, and we'll also use the same color in our big crashing wave. Back in here again. And I have a little dot of blue there. If anything, that's going to make it help it better, but see, it just kind of darken it a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. And I'll put us all over in this big wave, because we'll mostly, this will get killed off. Okay, and I'm constantly molding this to where I want the foam to start working. Okay. Okay. Now let's take a look at it again. Take a little bit of that dark color we was working with. A little bit more blue, sap green, burnt umber, tiny touch of black. And then we start working down here. And then we start working it up. And it'll automatically create a middle tone. As we work it up. Again, multiple different colors. Seascapes, for most people, especially when you first start going, it's kind of hard because there's so many different colors. You're blending in so many different ways. Your brush is twisting everywhere. So a lot of people get frustrated when you first get started in Seascapes. In my new book, the Painting with Magic Volume Number 1 book, I have a Seascape in here that's kind of similar to this one, but it's a lot more simpler. So you can get your muscle movements into working these seascapes. Okay, I like these 3 different colors here. I like these colors. I like them a lot. So if I'll make this darker here at the bottom, but to do that, I'm going to use my big old brush to do that with. I'm going to take some black, just straight up black, some sap green, touch of blue, just a little bit of Prussian blue. Let's go down here. Monkey faced on it. Now make sure you're just doing the bottom section, and blend it up. Don't get carried away with it. Just blend it up. I'm using the same old brush in the same way, just stroking it up and down, like rocking motion. Okay, and then we'll take more black, mix it in there, black. Okay, then we'll go over here. As I get close to this corner, I want it to almost be black when I'm done with it. All those different tones. A little bit of hair there. And maybe more black, more blue, Prussian blue, sap green, and around that corner. Nice together. I'm almost creating foam patterns with this big old 2-inch brush. Okay. Now I'm taking a look at this, and I believe I want to start working on my foam patterns. And I want to take my liner brush and go into some amazing white, some titanium white, a little tiny touch of this dirty color, some of the stuff we use for our main highlighting. And I'm going to come in here and just dabble a little bit, following the way I want it to move, but I'm mainly just dabbling this brush a little bit. And honestly, I'm going to wash this silver brush because that's a little bit slow. But that's how you, if you want some details, use that brush. But I think we can get a lot of it done with this filbert brush today. So we'll try it out, then we might go back to the liner brush or something later. Okay, yeah, it's working better. I'm going to take this brush, load it back and forth, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a push. Kind of rolls a little bit of a paint on the edge of that. Okay, see the little edge, little lip of paint? Let's go back in here. And we're going to use that little edge. It's going to create like a little roll of paint on the edge of this brush. And we can do all that with it. Make sure you leave some pockets of openness here. That way you can get this foam patterns going for you. I always like to start at the base of the foam and work it up when I'm using a brush or with a bigger brush than the liner brush. Because most of the foam sits at the base of that, and then it kind of thins out up top. Okay, I like this filbert brush a lot for details, and it does a whole lot more than people give it credit for. But always follow the way you want to move. Okay, let's throw over here. That's a really easy way to make your foam look very detailed. Okay. Looks good enough for me for this back wave, and almost would say that'd be good enough for the big wave up too, because I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. We can start to decide how this big one's going to crash over. And we'll probably use a fan brush to decide that way, but let's use this dark color we used. It's a little bit too dark because we used it on the bottom. So I'm just kind of remixing a little bit of those colors together. A little bit of brown, a little sap green, a little blue, a little black, a little more brown. And some more sap green. See how that goes for us. There's many different ways to make your waves. Look realistic. I'm not going straight down. I'm kind of giving it like this, and I'm kind of going like that. Okay. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And we're not going to see hardly any of that. So, not much of that will show. Then we can give it some crunches right through here. some really simple steps you can do to make this happen. So I'm hoping by sketching this out and showing you showing you this process, you'll be able to do this easier. Okay. Might be a little too high there, but it's okay. Okay, looks good to me. I'm gonna wash out this brush, wash it out. And I wash mine with odorless paint thinner. You can use baby oil or whatever you like. There's a DIY paint brush cleaner you can make yourself. You can find that on my website at brandtimistart.com to make your own non-toxic cleaner. Okay, what I want to do now is start highlighting this big old wave. So we're going through some titanium white, and I'm going to drop down and grab some amazing white with that. Just to thin down a little bit. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of a push. Kind of gives it a little bit of a roll on the end of that. Okay? And then we'll just see what happens here. I want to preserve a lot of the darkness that's at the base of this. Maybe the first layer of the highlight for that. I'll have to give it a few different touches of highlight on that big wave. Reloading. I'll get a little bit of roll on the edge of that. Just push it up a little bit. Back in here again. This time I'm using no pressure. I'm just barely touching and giving it a pull. See, that creates so much depth into that wave. Okay, if I keep playing with it too much, I'm going to lose it, so just do it so much and then leave it alone. Okay, then I'm going to grab that old liner brush, go into some amazing white, and I'm going to grab a little amazing clear to thin that with. I'm going to go back here. Do is reload. There we go. It's a nice lip back there on that wave. Okay. And also what you can do too back here is you can go back here and do some rocky motions with this brush. Create some details. Let me thin it down a little bit more. A little touch back there. And then I'll take my 1-inch landscape brush and I'll give it a tiny blend. Soften them down a little bit. That's the background. We just want a little bit of noise back there, not too much. Okay. I'm going to take back my filler brush. I'm going to do some cadmium yellow, a tiny touch of sap green, and titanium white. I want to make this a little brighter back here in this eye of the wave. This will be the eye of the wave. Just that spot. Then I'll blend them out. Then I'll come back with some tiny touch of titanium white and make them a little more paler. Oh, that's perfect. I like that a lot. And then we can go take a number 3 fan brush. It could be number 6, whatever you got. And then fix these edges. And I'm going to wash this filbert out again real quickly. I think it's brushing this number 6 fan brush we used for the titanium one. I want to crunch it. Let's go back in here now. I just want to maybe add a little amazing white to that. I'm going to use it like this. A little bit more amazing white. Now I'm going to use it straight up the brush. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to go back to our liner brush or filbert brush. A little bit of amazing white. And let's create our foam in here. We can see that, huh? I may have to put some darker in here first to get that to work. This is going to darken up, so I'm going to grab some of this down here and work it into this. I'm going to even grab a little touch of darkness to help it out. Put the dark in here first, and then we can come back in here with some lighter tones to really fix that up. Then I'll wipe the brush out a little bit. Then go back into some titanium white. Then I'm going to grab some amazing white. And give it a little bit of a lip to that, push it up. Now you can see that for sure coming through. And this makes it easier because now you can just follow what you already did. Okay. Constantly reloading it because it gets dirty really quickly and it'll start fading out. So reloading, each time I reload, I always give it a push. It gives me a little bitty roll of paint on the edge of my brush so I can do that. Okay, and I got a big old wave coming out here, splashing like that. So what I'll do is I'll use a fan brush. It's already got some paint on it. Let's follow that foam pattern out. Okay. Okay, looks good to me. I like that. You can even brighten it up a little bit by just taking a little amazing white to your titanium white. Give it a little bit of a push up, and you come in here and you do an overhand grip. It'll really show. I don't know about it's showing on the camera, but okay. Looks good. Now we start deciding where that big rock lives. And we'll start working on the big old rock in here. Take some ivory black, some burnt umber, some Prussian blue, some crimson. Just some dark colors. Then we get a little roll of paint. And we already drawn him out, so we'll paint half of him in. Because I won't put my... Oh, no, we'll paint him all the way in. Let's go ahead and paint him all the way in. We won't even have to really grab any paint to underlay it. We already got some paint there. And a big old rock right there. Just pull this paint out. There's a little. I'm going to grab my 2-inch brush. It's already dirty with some paint on it, so we'll pull him out. And if we get rid of that, it's okay. We can repaint that in. It's no big problem. Okay. And then we'll just grab some of this dirty color and start making some foam shapes. Just crunching in some foam. I want some big foam in here today. There's a big old wave that hit that rock. Okay. That's good to me. And then we'll take the old filbert brush. It's already got that paint on there. It don't really matter. And we're going to crunch in this paint. Okay. I just want the bristles to be open. Let's go back in here. And I'm just going to tap. Get all these nice foam. Almost like we're painting trees. Real detailed trees almost. I try to do as much as I can on these shows, so I'm limited on time. But you have more time to do it. I'm just trying to show you how you can get some of these more detailed seascapes. I get questions on it all the time. And we'll have a rock coming in front of that, and we'll have this foam come out and do all that stuff we need it to do. And as we're picking up both the light and the dark, we come out from the edge and bring it out, and it really looks like a nice mist. Okay. And then we just reload the brush and just tap it. Now I might just grab some fresh titanium white. That way I can put some even bigger highlights in there. But before I do that, I want to kind of work back down here again. There'll be some more mist down here. See, I told you we're not going to really see all that big wave. After we get done with all this splashing and stuff. We'll we picked up a lot of dark there. Nice titanium white, some amazing white together. Okay, then we'll go right to the titanium white, like I said we would, and some amazing white. I'm going to give it a lot of pound this brush. And tap. Let a lot of the chunky stuff come in there. Okay, I like that. Looks pretty good to me. Just gotta get in here and get some of the other things done because we're running out of time here. I'm just gonna crunch in some of these, like some foam that kind of works up into this big wave. And it kind of follow its way over. It gives it so much nice little details in here. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and fix this little thing. And we can just do some of that again. You can do as much as you want to. Whatever makes it feel right to you when you get it going. Okay. Looks pretty good. And there at the base, we'll also go at the base of that and crunch and do things like that. Because it's going to be crashing over, we're going to have all these splashes. And I kind of want to follow up this wave. Okay, can I get the basics of this painting? Okay, I'm gonna go start working on this rock again. Kind of reloaded the brush, and we're gonna bring out that peak right in the middle of that water and that foam. Maybe it just peaks up a little bit more right here. And by doing this right here, when we take the knife right here, it creates a lot of lumps and texture here, so we can use it to highlight our stuff with. I'll take titanium white and some burnt umber. A little bit more burnt umber in there. Get a little roll of paint. And we're going to highlight this. Just like you would a mountain. Really no pressure at all in here. I think I'm more brown in here. Okay, I like that a lot. I love making these mountains with a lot of browns on them and stuff. It just looks so good. Then you can throw a little blue on there too if you want to make it look really good. But you'll have plenty of time at home to finish this painting up and make it look fantastic. I'm going to take a little bit of white, a little tiny touch of blue, a little bit more white. Just a little bit of blue in this one. Just a little bit. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to take a tiny touch of titanium white. Just right on there. Where the light may hit it a little extra. Okay. Looks good. Then we'll take and put some mist at the base of this old rock where it's been hit by so many different waves. Now let's bring that old wave out again. Okay, you can do so many things with this one. It's a lot you can do. Okay, I think what I'll do next is I want to add a few little seagulls back here. I get a lot of questions on how to paint those. We're going to take titanium white and a little amazing white together. We may add a seagull or something back here. And we got to figure out where we might be able to see one. You might be able to see it right here. I don't know if you can see the white coming through. And going to make some gray, some black and white, more black. Here on the edges, we'll just give it a little dot or two. A little more thinner. Okay. Kind of fix that one there. Kind of got a little too much on him. Okay. Now we'll need to make a little bit of orange. So we'll take a little of the crimson, a little of the red. And let's say we got a little beak there. Here's 2 little feet. Beak, 2 feet. Maybe a little more red than that. And then we got a beak there and 2 feet there. Okay. I think with that one there, I got to finish painting. Okay. So I think I'll sign this one. I'm going to go ahead and sign this in some blue. Some Prussian blue. Hope you enjoyed this painting today. Hope it taught you how to do some really cool effects in your seascapes. Again, I wish I had more time on here to be able to create even detailer paintings. Maybe spend some time on one on here, but you only got so much time on here. Alrighty. Teach you how to do a couple little seagulls on there. You can put them in many different paintings like this. Get some really cool effects. Well, this one here is ready for the art gallery. So is yours. And I'll see you real soon.